here we go. Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Cade, and I'm sitting here with the one and only Coach Cason. What's up, Coach?
Hey, Dr. Cade. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Should we jump into this and get her done?
Let's go, dude.
Right. It's going to be a long one. So, hey, good morning. I'm Dr. Cade. Founded LIFEstrength Health Center back in 2010. Been here for a long time, and that's my crazy, awesome, beautiful family. Miss you guys. Going to talk real quick about my favorite sleep quote. Any kid will run an errand for you if you ask at bedtime. Why is bedtime so crazy? Is it crazy at your house?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. It's crazy because my daughter refuses to go to sleep. She doesn't want to miss anything.
Yeah, that's a real thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. FOMO. Hey, I'm Coach Cason. There's me. And this is my family. My wife, Chancey, and my daughter, Cutler, they're my life. And Dr. Cade picked this quote for me because I love it.
I wouldn't.
It's funny. Never under any circumstance take a sleeping pill and a laxative at the same time. You know what? I would take neither. So interesting.
I wonder if Dave Barry, the man who's credited with that quote, is speaking from experience.
He tried it.
Hey guys, we're LIFEstrength Health Center, and we are as serious as it can be today. We'd like to have a little bit of fun with you guys and talking about sleep. So let's jump into it. We stand for health, though. You know, our job is not to make somebody feel better. Our job is to help somebody get healthy, and I think there's a big difference between the two. Mm-hmm. Sleep is one of the things that we talk about. We also talk about stress and food. We talk about toxicity. The big things that we're excited about, though, is always chiropractic and blood work. Mm-hmm. Giving you guys a couple of disclaimers, I think these talks are always hard because for some of you, it's going to be like drinking out of a fire hose. And for others, you're going to know most of what we say. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to do our best to bring the whole spectrum, the whole gamut to the table today in regards to sleep.
There's a lot. This is very comprehensive.
Oh, I think another thing is we don't know. Maybe I don't need to say that. Okay, on to the next. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Coach, what's the most important thing to you?
Health.
Are you sure?
But God.
Okay. Yeah, it always comes with that disclaimer,
but
isn't it?
Health comes from God. So, it's all that combined.
You haven't said that before in our talks yet. So a wise man ought to realize that his health is his most valuable possession. Most of us don't realize that, though, until it's too late. And one of the things that we live by in this office is literally just what Coach said, is that, health comes from God. The greatest doctor in the world lives inside each one of us, right? It's telling our heart to beat. It's telling our lungs to breathe. It's telling our digestive system to work. We're not even thinking about that. That doctor's just working inside of you. So if you are struggling with a health issue, no matter what it is, our job is to help make sure that that doctor that lives inside of you can work at its absolute best. Mm-hmm. All right. So here's my selfie from yesterday morning. I woke up a little crabby and under the weather, so I wanted to go back to bed because I didn't get enough sleep because of my dang kids. I'm going to blame it on my kids. So here's our definition of sleep as we jump into things. A natural periodic state of rest for the mind and the body. Eyes are usually closed and a consciousness is completely or partially lost. So there is a decrease in bodily movement and responsiveness to external stimuli. I think that's what most people understand. However, at the same time that that's happening, there is also complex, coordinated, spontaneous, and dynamic internally generated brain activity that affects all physiology. So for me, as I'm so down, that's the only time that there's complex, coordinated internal brain activity going on is when I sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. You know why? Because Dr. Cade is gone and God comes in and he fixes you. But if it was up to us, we're screwed. Because we can't do it.
Yeah. It's so wild how it works. It's so wild how it works.
Pretty fascinating.
Okay, so why is sleep so dang important? It's a primitive function for all animals. Mm-hmm. On average, if we're sleeping somewhere between 6 to 8 hours a night, that equates to 30 years for the average lifespan. Mm-hmm. 30 years we spend sleeping, which is pretty wild. Mm-hmm. Organ systems, again, are very active, which we'll talk about today. Mm-hmm. It's a perfect way for our system to basically just recharge. Mm-hmm. I always like to call it like it's the time that our brain breathes. During the day, we're consuming fuel, like if you're putting gas into a car. Mm-hmm. But the time that we let that exhaust out, the waste products out of our brain, is when we're sleeping.
Yeah.
Another selfie over there.
Oh, of that chick sleeping, drooling?
Mm-hmm.
Because she took ZQL.
Oh, man.
The scaries. That gives you scary dreams.
Oh, There's so much to talk about with ZQL and stuff, so we'll jump into it a little bit. Anything you want to say on this one, Coach?
No, we need to sleep.
Okay.
Why aren't we sleeping?
So I'll keep going on this one a little bit. If we can't sleep, if we're not getting that on average 6 to 8 hours, it weakens our immune response. So again, at the first sign of sickness, always prioritize vitamin sleep. It throws off our blood sugar. So if you're having a hard time, if you're working with Coach, you're having a hard time balancing your blood sugar, you know that he's talking with you about sleep. If you're struggling with blood sugar stuff and you're not working with Coach, look at your sleep. It diminishes our human growth hormone production, which comes out of the pineal gland, correct?
You got me on that.
Maybe pituitary. Yeah.
Pituitary, because that's the master.
Yeah. And human growth hormone is known as the fountain of youth, right? It accelerates tumor growth, which all of us have some level of tumor. It's just, if our immune system's keeping in check. So again, goes back to the immune weakness. And then again, massively impacts brain function if we're not getting enough. We're going to keep talking about it. If you have, 30% of people experience insomnia at some point in their life. If you are married or, sleeping with somebody, sleeping in bed with somebody, right? And you have a snoring partner, that equates to at least 1 hour of lost sleep. People who experience ADD, ADHD, 25% of that diagnosis literally is just a sleep disorder. 1.5 hours of less sleep reduces your mental and physical performance by 32%. And this one to me is pretty crazy. And makes sense that if you haven't slept for 17 to 19 hours, it equates to a blood alcohol concentration of 0.05%. And forgive me, I don't know. What's the legal limit again? Is it 0.08?
I have no clue, but what I think about there is nighttime shift workers. And we know drinking alcohol, like people who have alcoholic fatty liver, obviously they're killing themselves by drinking so much. So if you're staying awake at night, you're doing something similar, and a lot of those people have a lot of dis-ease.
Oh man,
night shift workers.
I did that for a little bit in college, and it took a lot out of me. It was fun, but it took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next slide and have a little bit of fun. We're gonna pull a clip from Saturday Night Live way back when. I don't think the audio is gonna work, so hopefully you can forgive me. I think Cason's gonna do captions here, right?
Sure.
Oh.
If you experience difficulty sleeping, try Lunesta. It's the sleep aid that will help you get the rest you need. Lunesta may not be for you.
Okay.
So we can hear it, but we can't see it.
If you're scared of a little butterfly, a sleep disorder.
So we could hear it but not see it that time. Let's go back one more time and try it.
Nothing now. Oh, there it goes.
If you experience difficulty sleeping,
Bummer.
try Lunesta.
It's funny.
It's a funny clip. There's a guy who's on a sleeping medication called Lunesta, and he's having hallucinations of this little butterfly floating around because that's the Lunesta logo, and he's fighting it like Coach is doing, and he chases it right out the window of a skyscraper. So it's pretty wild, how many people are experiencing sleep issues, and that the science is telling people to, don't go back and figure out the root of it. Just take these pills to put you to sleep. We've been down that route with trust in the science, and we know the list of things that we've been told to take and told to do, and there's a consequence to pay later. So here is some things on sleeping pills. According to National Health Institute, it really only helps people fall asleep 10 minutes sooner. However, it does not give people the quality of sleep, right? And again, it goes back to that huge list of things that we talked about with the brain, with the immune system, with blood sugar, with human growth hormone. And you're really only supposed to be on these things for a very short amount of time. They're just not the answer. Because if you start taking these, and you're not addressing the root, how long do you take it for?
Forever.
Forever and ever.
And we shouldn't be on them anyway. I don't think it's justifiable to say like the doctor, you shouldn't be on these for very long. No, we shouldn't need them.
Amen.
We're gonna figure out why.
Amen. Yeah, we're gonna figure out why today. So here's some a little bit deeper nasty side effects of prescription sleeping pills. So Ambien is a good one. Sleepwalking, hallucinations, suicidal thoughts, potential overdose, digestive issues. And then over-the-counter ones like Advil PM or Benadryl or Unisom, a lot of the same stuff. Big one there is going to be liver problems. And Coach, how many people, when you do lab work with people, experience liver issues, even if they're not on sleeping pills.
9.9 out of 10.
It's crazy. And so this is just one more thing to put you over the edge and experience more liver issues.
Yep.
So if we know that National Health Institute says that these things aren't effective, we know that there's a protective label on these things. Why the heck are we still having them?
Money, 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 money.
I think you hit that note. Yeah, man. Well said.
It's all about the dollars because we're rushing around like trying to get money.
Somebody give this man a microphone. Oh, he's got one.
Oh, snap.
So great quote by William Osler. The person who takes medicine has to recover twice, once from the disease and once from the medicine. So don't let that be you. Figure it out. And again, we're going to do our best to bless you today. But if you're looking for a team of practitioners, medical doctors, or the whole gamut, right? Gold Care is your answer to break away from the system of practitioners that are prescribing and prescribing and prescribing. These are practitioners that are not incentivized to keep you sick. Anything you want to say here?
Yeah, lots of people want that MD behind that name because they think that that label is such a big deal. And no doubt, no disrespect to getting that label. That's a lot of hard work. But these doctors here, they do it right. They do it the right way. They're going to give you the care that you deserve and you need. They're going to listen to you. And it's an awesome system.
Please go check out Gold Care. You won't be disappointed. Awesome people. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 different types of sleep problems, and there is not a one-size-fits-all to sleep issues. So we're going to give you a ton of information, but the first thing to do, again, is figure out where your sleep problems, typically the majority of them, are.
Yeah.
So we split it up into mind noise, body noise, and environment.
Cognitive popcorn.
Yeah, what do you think of those 3, Coach? What do you think?
I got ADD. I can't focus. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to break things down of why we're not sleeping. I would say that the primary problem is our mind. Mind noise. We can't shut it off. But a lot of people have restless legs, but I think the restless legs starts with the mind. So, and then, of course, with environment, you have a train track outside of your house, or your partner snores, or your kids are banging on the walls all night, That's going to keep you up.
Yep. So we're going to dive into each one of those and give you recommendations on how to solve each one of those things. Because, if you're experiencing, like Coach said, a train, outside, that's a very different thing than someone who can't shut their brain off, right? And so, those are 2 completely different things, and you wouldn't do the same thing for both of those. So, however, I think it's important to know that there isn't also a one-size-fits-all for how we're supposed to sleep. So, Coach, why don't you talk about this one a little bit, and Chance?
Yeah. So my wife, she's a night owl, and so who knows if that's nurture or nature, but my daughter is as well. That's just how they're wired. And, I tried to fight that for a long time. Like, go to sleep. We need to get you to sleep earlier. And it just wasn't working, So my wife sleeps better by going to bed later. And she has a better quality of sleep. And it's not the 8 hours that, is recommended on Dr. Google, right? It's probably a little bit less. And it works. So we're all wired differently. We have to listen to our body. We have to listen to what our body is telling us and not do what they say.
I think that's pretty cool, right? So you might not have a problem at all with sleep stuff if you're a wolf and who does your best thinking at night, but you're trying to shut that down earlier in the evening before you do your best thinking, right? Isn't a one size fits all. So I think you need to listen to your body, right? Be willing to experiment and maybe modify your schedule a little bit to optimize your sleep type.
Yep. Stay open.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to jump into mind first. Okay, so the big things that we're going to talk about in this category is establishing a consistent routine, and that consistent routine doesn't just start at the nighttime, right? Turning off the mind noise and how to do that. Some of our favorite things are prayer and meditation, breathing, music, reading, and journaling. So we'll go through all of that stuff. And the dangerous ones that we've got down at the bottom are from that dang stinking phone. And I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand. I'm guilty of it. Man, it's hard to shut it down.
It's not far from me.
Mine is a little bit further. Mine's on the floor for some reason right now. Yours is a little closer. So
separation anxiety.
Okay, go for it, Coach.
Yeah, well, it's all about the sun. The sun and the light from it rules our biology. So we are we're running off it. We're going to talk about the sun and the rhythm in our body that the sun creates, the circadian rhythm, a lot. But yeah, we have to start. I mean, you can start at the night, you can start in the morning, but you got to start somewhere. Just make a start time. And I think the best way is to start in the morning. Get up. We'll talk about routines. You know, do your prayer, do your breathing, do your meditation, and then go look at the sun. Get your eyes without glasses, your eyes without contacts, your eyes without sunglasses on the sun while it's rising. And that's going to help to start your pineal gland secreting serotonin to start the time clock. It's kind of like a time clock in your brain, a rhythm in your brain that your body uses. This runs sleep-wake. This runs digestion. This runs the menstrual cycle in a female. All those things, all those cycles are driven by the sun.
It's wild to think about. What we have written in our notes here is that, like, when we're waking up in the morning, most of us are just praying for more sleep. And then by the time we get to the nighttime, that most of us forget that we want more sleep. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is the start of the rhythm here in the morning. So Coach said, get your eyes in the sun. The one thing that I just want to add to getting your eyes in the sun is it should be, I think he's alluding to it, but outside. Don't get your sunlight through the window. That changes the frequency of that.
Yeah.
So get outside, eyes in the sun, and start the system. So go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, really the only thing that the sun should be coming through is a tree, something in nature. If there's glass in front of it, like a eyeglass or a sunglass or a contact glass, then that's going to change the frequency of the light that's coming in. And, good, better, best. Like if the best you can do is get it through your car window when you're driving to work, hey, roll it down at the stoplight or whatever. But it's the light.
At that point, you don't just recommend just like a big bright LED panel, just like okay, keep going.
You like the lights that are shining in our eyes to make our video look good. Yeah, I think that's it. These are some other cool ideas. There's high intensity, HIIT is high intensity interval training. These are things that you can do to elicit yourself to wake up, right? Moving your body in high intensities fast, quick breathing. There's a double inhale that we really like that stimulates the nervous system. And then there's no light after sundown. So we're going to talk all about that, how to like work the nighttime routine and work the morning routine.
Yeah, high lights. I didn't mean to say it that way. More natural light in the morning and bumping that down, especially the artificial ones later. And again, we'll go through specifics later. So it's getting connected with nature, specifically with the lights. Okay, so what about coffee, Coach? I'm over here sucking down coffee. I stopped on my way in today. Never enough sleep. Oh, you are too? Oh, you got a bigger one than I do. Well, the old honey pot.
The honey pot, I get made fun of for this huge thing because it's full of coffee, because I'm running on coffee.
So,
just like the rest of us.
What do you think? Coffee, good, bad? Everybody wants to know the truth on that. What do you think?
Well, we're all addicted to it, or most people are, right? Because it makes us poop. It wakes us up. Like we love our coffee, and for good reason. There is a lot of phytonutrients. There's a lot of polyphenols. There's a lot of antioxidants in coffee. But the coffee has to be quality. You have to know where your beans are coming from. You have to know how long they've been sitting in a warehouse. You have to know if there's mycotoxins and mold in them. And this company here in Naples, Winfield Coffee, is awesome. It's clean. We're blessed to live in this community, to have, Food and Thought, where they sell organic, fair trade coffee, that they know where the source is. Winfield, Take Two, there's a bunch of clean coffee companies here, but Dr. Cade and I have met these people. We go and talk to the owners. We ask where they source their beans. And you should do the same thing instead of just settling for Folgers. That's super cheap, but really, really latent with toxins.
Any other things to worry about with coffee?
What you put in it.
Okay.
What you put in it. So if you drink black coffee, great. Like I'll tell my patients, when you go get your labs done, I want them fasted, and you can drink black coffee and still not have that affect your labs, affect your blood sugar that we're looking for. So what are you putting in it? How much sugar's in that creamer? Where's that creamer come from? What kind of creamer?
Love that. And if you want more details on that, yeah, I would recommend people go to our nutrition talk, right?
Yeah.
What about quality of water and then what you're cooking it into?
Yeah. So, and Dr. Cade always reminds me about this, but yeah, the water. Like, are you using tap water and putting that in your Keurig? Are you running it through a Keurig where there's possibly mold in the pipes in the Keurig? So many details that go into this, and I don't want to overwhelm you, but like, what kind of glass are you drinking it out of? Is it plastic? and
is the hot water touching plastic while it's cooking, right?
Yeah. So many details that, we can keep it simple though, and just make it glass, make it clean water, make it clean coffee, and make it real cream, that's from a grass-fed, grass-finished cow.
And then again, Nutrition Talk talks about sweeteners. So favorite sweetener for coffee for you?
For me, because my blood sugar looks a little bit diabetic, right? I got to use monk fruit. I got to use stevia. And if I use honey or maple syrup or regular sugar, I need to have protein with it. So again, a lot of details there. But yeah, watch our Nutrition Talk.
Maybe we should just do a talk on coffee one of these days. My blood sugar, I like to do honey if I put a sweetener in there. Okay, on to the next.
Yeah, because look, he's skinny, I'm fat.
Skinny head?
Hypoglycemia.
Skinny head.
Diabetic.
I'm very aerodynamic. Okay, let's go on from coffee, although that's a big topic. So most of us in the morning, this is how we're starting our day, right? We're starting artificial light, whether it's from our phone or whether it's from our lights in our bathroom, right? We do that because we've hit the snooze 5 times. I'm guilty of that too. We're looking for an artificial source of energy. We're checking social media or text. We're just hitting the stress button on our day immediately. Later on in the day, we're hunting for more energy, for another energy drink, right? To keep us from drowning. We're looking for a sugary snack, and by the middle part of the day, we're just absolutely drowning. I think most people, especially after that lunchtime, right? Like that 12 to 2, maybe 12 to 3 o'clock range, this is what most of us are doing, right? And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and we just keep doing it. So
what are we doing?
So if you're feeling that way, if you're exhausted, there's something different that you can do, right? Okay, so we talked about start of the day. How about the end of the day routine? Yeah. What do you think here?
Well, we touched on it briefly with the lights. Again, everything is run by the sun. So what happens right now, it's like 6:30 p.m. The sun goes down. When the sun goes down, the light spectrum changes, right? And in our world today, we turn on these blue lights, and these blue lights keep us awake. So one big thing you can do is turn the lights down, or get yourself a salt lamp or halogen bulbs, right? The spectrum. We're going to go through all that, but start somewhere.
What about mind stuff here? What can people do to quiet that mind noise here at night?
Pray.
Okay.
Talk to your spouse. Talk to your children. Ask them what they think of the world. Ask them, communicate.
I love
talk
that.
to one another. Get off of this.
I love that. I think that's the best thing you can do is have that communion with your family at night. And again, I could do way better at this on the nights that I'm working. But it's so important because that connection gets you out of fight or flight, right? You're able to leave the stress, hopefully, at the door, right? And be able to connect with your family. One of my favorite questions to ask my children is, what was the best part of your day? What was the part of your day that you think you could have done better? And what are you most looking forward to tomorrow, right? So we're able to just kind of quickly reflect, and every one of them answer it. And I usually try to do that in the car ride on the way home, but this would be a really good nighttime thing.
Sure.
And if it's not, if you don't have kids, ask those questions of yourself. What could I have done better? How was my food? How was my hydration, right? What am I going to do? What's the number one thing that I need to do tomorrow to start my day off right and have a successful day? Coach, do those kind of things have to be this big, long, drawn out thing for hours and hours?
No, but just make it simple. Make it simple. Start by putting your phone on the nightstand and putting it on airplane mode, and eliminating that distraction. We have to set up an environment for success. So
Love that.
Yeah, when the TV's on, it's going to be hard because we're going to watch a commercial.
The more consistent you are with these kind of things, the more it triggers your brain to shut down and follow that it's time to go to sleep, right? So if you do this 1 or 2 times and you're like, it's not working, this is crazy, this is the stupidest thing that these two fathead, skinnyhead told me to do, like, you got to be consistent with it, right?
Keep going.
You're not going to lose 20 pounds by having, 2 bites of broccoli, right? You're not going to get, the biggest biceps, on the block with, 2 sets of curls, right?
Yeah.
You got to work at it and be consistent and train your brain just like you got to train everything else.
Amen.
Okay, cool. So this is the big one for mind noise. Okay, so we're going to spend a little bit of time going into this. I'm going to warn you though, if you want more details on it, Coach and I just filmed and recorded a big talk on stress. It's a long one. We go into details there. We're going to steal some information and some slides from that. But the biggest thing to take away from the stress is that sleep has mind noise has everything to do with your neurology. If you are stuck in fight or flight, you can't go to sleep. You can't shut that brain off. The more you can get yourself into that peaceful, balanced state of the rest, digest, and heal of the parasympathetics, you can actually sleep, right? And it's like you can't out journal. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you can out. Maybe you can pray it out of the way. But like
medicate, supplement.
There you go. That's the better way to put it.
Instagram reel research. Chat GPT. You can't out Chat GPT improper neurology.
What a beautiful way to put it. And that is the truth. So like if you feel yourself like trying to hit the brakes, get into bed, but like the gas pedal of your brain, like you're sitting fighting between the two of those things, you get to the root, right? Yeah. So again, you can find our stress talk on YouTube. Our handle is LIFEstrength FC. Go listen to that. I can understand if you get sick of fathead and skinnyhead, but like there's some good information there. I think we're both pretty proud of that talk. Go listen to it, right?
That's awesome.
Okay, so how do we break stress down? Let's just give them a little teaser, Coach.
MCP, baby. Mental, chemical, physical. So 3 things knock our body out of balance. All stress is when our body gets knocked out of balance. In science, we call that homeostasis. Okay, so there's a lack of homeostasis when we have mental stress, when we have chemical stress, or when we have physical stress.
I love that. And when those stresses knock us out of balance, it's something that our body can't adapt to and come back to homeostasis in. So for this, we're going to talk mostly about mental. So here's a bunch of examples of mental stressors, right? And I think to some extent we can all connect with these kind of things. Yep. However, I think, Coach, you've done such a good job talking about this with people lately that the internet is a big blessing, right? You're probably listening to this, being connected to the internet, and there's wonderful things about the internet. But the hard part is, I think the internet, well, I shouldn't say I think, this is what Coach has been saying, and I agree with it a ton, is that we're all carrying our own mental stress. But when we turn on the internet and we see this person got murdered, or that person's car got stolen, or, whatever story that is out there, right, is that we're also carrying everybody else's stress too.
Amen.
And it's something that we can't, adapt to. It's something that we're having a really hard time overcoming. So this philosopher, Hans Selye, had this general adaptation. What is it called? General adaptation response, right? This is his theory that on how all of us living beings, even animals, how we deal with stress. So we have an initial stressor that we're exposed to, again, mental, chemical, physical, right? And then our body puts up this resistance against it, right? How are we going to fight? How are we going to overcome it, right? And then we're either going to do one of 2 things. We're either going to adapt to it and come back to what Coach said, homeostasis, or it's going to cause exhaustion. And over time, because we're constantly exposed to more and more stress, that exhaustion takes a toll, and it's either disease or death, right? To take him just a touch further, it's not stress that kills us, but our reaction to it. And I think that's so true for the mental side of things, right?
What we're trying to do here is build resilience. We need to be resilient to stress because we're not going to not have it.
Yes.
It's killing us. We have too much of it, and hopefully we're going to help you understand what that is.
So like Coach said, because we have so much of it from every angle, mental, chemical, and physical, our system literally gets stuck on stress, right? Our body just gets stuck in that gas pedal, right? So let's break out like the difference between the gas pedal and the brake pedal. So we're going to continue to call stress the gas pedal, okay? So Coach, what happens when the gas pedal's down?
Well, in my mind, when I see that picture, the past picture of the traffic jam, I feel that in my body. I feel a physical, because I get stressed out with driving.
Me too.
Right? Yeah. And I feel a physical, like, let's go, come on, move.
It's because you're a better driver than everybody else out there.
Obviously. But when we have the fight or flight nervous system going on. When we're on the gas pedal, our neurology and our physiology changes. So we put more blood into our heart, our lungs, our big muscles, and our brain. So really we can run, fight, or hide because our body's in a survival mode. Mm-hmm. So it's a good thing because it's kept us alive. But now in our world today, we're having that turned on for little things like a traffic jam.
Mm-hmm. Or a text message from your child or your spouse, right?
Yep.
Or I'm out of almond milk. I can't put any almond milk in my coffee this morning.
Yeah.
What am I
and
gonna do?
they raised the price of almond milk, and now it's too expensive. And yeah. So here's what overactive stress is going to do. It's going to give you sleep issues, which is why we made this video, right? Heart palpitations, high blood pressure, weight loss, right? Everybody's like, I want to lose weight. I can't lose weight. I changed my diet. I can't lose weight. Well, are you stressed? Right? Quick to anger, digestive issues, not pooping properly, not being able to focus, brain fog in the morning. The list goes on and on and on. All disease is caused by stress.
I think if you can resonate with a couple of these things on this list, I think it's a really good sign for you to zoom out, not say, oh, I need to fix my sleep by taking this supplement and that supplement. Mm-hmm. I think it's a bigger thing. I think this tells us that it's more a neurologic thing than a systems thing. Does that make sense?
100%.
Right?
Yeah. Like everybody comes to see me, not everybody, but a lot of people come to see me and they complain about their weight. Mm-hmm. They're like, I got this sticky weight and I can't lose it. Well, get off of Instagram, what are you doing to reduce your stress load?
And I think for some people that immediately resonates, and for others, I think they think you're crazy, right? And so again, when you go through and you listen to some of this stuff and the neurology, the science behind it, it's so easy to understand. But like most of us, we just really go in a circle, right? Mm-hmm. We're literally taking medicine at night to shut our engine off, to get off that gas pedal because we can't do it by ourselves, right? And then we're doing caffeine again in the morning, right? To turn that engine back on and jumpstart it. And we just get into this, like we're absolutely exhausted, but we're so wired, we're so hypersensitive and overstimulated that like it just turns into this freaking prison, doesn't it?
Amen. Yeah, we go to bed on our phones scrolling Instagram to try and find the next supplement or the next doctor or the next YouTube video.
The next person that's going to heal us.
Right, that's going to heal us. And we're trapped, dude.
Oh, it's wild, huh? Okay, so this is our thing. It's really all about balance. There's times where we do need to be on that gas pedal, and there's times where we need to be on that brake pedal, right? Yep. And, that's how God designed us. That's how it's supposed to work. So it's not gas pedal versus brake pedal. It's helping our body understand and be more, like Coach said, more resilient, being able to understand its environment better, and when the appropriate time to be on the gas pedal and when is the appropriate time to be on the brake pedal. All of the tools that we talk about in this office are helping the body do that. So, oh man, talk about stuff to put us to bed at night, huh? Holy moly. So this is a big one for a lot of folks, especially our seasonal folks that come down to have a good time in Naples, right? So our job is not to tell you to stop drinking. If that's something that you like to do, like I always respect that. I always want people not to hide stuff from us. Yeah. But we're going to talk about some things to make maybe alcohol less of an impact. But it does do a good job of shutting our brain off, doesn't it?
Amen.
All right. I'll let you take this one.
Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. The true way to rest, the true way to let go and fall asleep is through Jesus Christ. And like we talked about, God. This is God's body, right? He made it. He created all things, the heavens and the earth. And so when we allow Him in, and we get Dr. Cade and Coach Cason out, and we're not that identity, we sleep. And we rest.
Yeah. Even in the face of a storm, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna go back a slide. So this was totally me. Using alcohol. And I would say that was like college was using alcohol to shut my brain off from the other troubles, and was, inches, I feel like, from going down the wrong path with alcohol. But so I can totally resonate with using that, not socially, but to distract myself from the other troubles. Sure. And it was like, I don't know, it was just, I think this right here, avoidance from all the troubles in life, Yeah. And man, it is seductive, isn't it?
It sure is. And it's hard to self-reflect. It's hard to repent. It's hard to admit our faults. But I just went and got another bottle of wine, a clean wine from Europe. I looked at where it's made, but yet I have to take an inventory in myself and say, hey, why do I want that? Why am I drinking that? Is that to escape, or is that, to sit down and break bread? It's to escape,
And I think only you can answer that,
Exactly.
right? And maybe that changes from this day to that day,
Sure.
but I think it's important to just communicate that with your
Sure.
heart, right?
Yeah, we have to look within. We have to take an inventory of ourselves, and we have to realize if we're trying to avoid stuff, right? And I would I don't know, bet that we're all trying to avoid something on some level.
We jump into this side a little bit more in the stress talk, about how all these things like continue to keep our foot on the gas pedal, especially childhood trauma, which is such a big one for so many people. I didn't realize that until I got into practice. And people started talking with me about it. But yeah, it trains our autonomic nerve system just to stay stressed out.
Yes.
And again, sometimes it takes, alcohol or gummies over there to kind of shut that off for people, which we're going to talk about in a second. Eventually, that doesn't do the trick. So you need more and more and more. And it's a bad path to go down. So Coach, if you're going to drink alcohol, if you're going to do it, what are the best, what are the worst, what are the mixers, what are the things to protect yourself that we've got down the bottom? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we got a QR code on there. So there's some supplements you can take as well. And I just mentioned wine, right? Wine can be very beneficial, just like coffee. Lots of polyphenols, lots of resveratrol, good stuff in there. But it's also sugar, right? So you have to watch what that is. And so, beer, same thing. It's a carbohydrate. If we're just, slamming beers and slamming wine, that's going to mess our blood sugar up. And also we have to detox the alcohol. So you can do really well with cleaner and clear spirits, vodka, gin, tequila, without mixers. The mixers that you put in matter. So if it's not a lime and it's a margarita mix that's full of high fructose corn syrup, you're now you've got 3 or 4 things that your liver has to detox.
It goes so deep. It doesn't have to go deep, but I think those are all common sense things. But favorite swap outs, you can always do fresh pressed, juices. I don't know if that's available if you're going out and about, but if you're going to make drinks at home, you can certainly make it better.
Yeah.
If you're going to mix with a Diet Coke, choose a Zevia, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely healthier versions out there. Kombucha, there's a bunch of kombucha alcohols out there now, right?
The bottom line is though, check yourself.
Yeah.
Check yourself. You have to know why you're drinking, and there's nothing wrong with it. To have a good social interaction, or enjoy it yourself, know where you're at. Take an inventory, self-inventory.
I think that's good. Okay, so if you're going to drink alcohol, some things to protect your liver before you start drinking is NAC and glycine. And our favorite brand out there is Myoscience. They got it in capsules, they got it in a powder. It's not on this QR code, but Myoscience, you'll be able to find it. And both of those two things increase glutathione, which is helpful for all sorts of things, especially alcohol. And if you've had too much, take a capsule of activated charcoal right before you go to bed with a tall glass of water. And that'll soak up any of the alcohol left in your tummy so that your liver doesn't have to continue to metabolize it. And both of those things minimize, again, the damage and will help you wake up feeling less crappy. Okay, let's go the opposite direction. Let's go gummies, CBD, THC. This is another one that is becoming more and more of a thing, if you will, right? Can I jam on this one?
Yeah, that's your jam.
Okay. So I kind of go both ways on this. I would much rather have somebody use this than alcohol. And the reason why is there's a receptor system in our body called the endocannabinoid system. And that endocannabinoid system has receptors everywhere: the brain, the liver, the gut, red blood cells, blood vessels, everywhere, right? And there's a reason, we've coexisted with this plant for all of human history, the hemp and the marijuana plant. So that endocannabinoid system, that system of receptors in our body, experts say that it actually outnumbers every other neurotransmitter in our body and actually controls the tone of how our system is resilient to stress. Super interesting. So CBD is one of the most potent adaptogens out there. Other things that are included in that list are ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil, those things, mushrooms, those things get a lot of attention, but CBD is in that same category, right? CBD is not just the only one, right? There's CBN and CBG. These kind of things do different things. Some more promote creativity or focus or help you go to sleep a little bit better than others. If you are going to get your medical card and want to go beyond just CBD, there's a ratio there between CBD and THC. That, again, for somebody with more mind noise, a ratio one direction might be better. For somebody more with body noise, a ratio favoring a different direction might be better. So experiment and talk with whoever it is that's got your card or at the dispensary. And just like every other supplement, just like we talked about with alcohol, look at what else is in either the gummy or the capsule or the tincture like we have here. This is one of our favorite brands we work with. But it's incredibly flexible. Same thing, helpful. Check yourself.
Yeah, check yourself. I can attest to this. I stayed way far away from anything marijuana until I was 40, really. And I'm 43 now. And until I met Dr. Cade and I found out the benefit of the endocannabinoid system. That's a hard one. But yeah, it's changed my brain. It's changed my brain. I've used this to lower my stress. I've used this to help me to love people more, besides Jesus. But again, I have to check myself because THC and the component of that works well for me, but it makes me high, right? So I have to watch how much I take. I have to watch how I use that, because it's easily used to avoid things. So, really, really powerful medicine. And I agree. I think this is safer and cleaner than alcohol, but
same slippery slope, right?
Same slippery slope. Yeah.
Couple more things I want to say, and before we move on to the next slide, had two really smart, really professional, really talented human beings that I respected a ton that got me into this. So alcohol was always my, quote unquote, drug of choice, and always same thing, completely stayed away from this plant. Until, these two individuals, shout out to Billy, shout out to Jill, shared with me to look into the science behind it. Mm-hmm. And when I learned about it, I couldn't unlearn it, right? And so if you want to geek out on it and you want to look into it yourself, there's a documentary season 1, maybe season 2. It's called the Sacred Plant. And it's unbelievable. It goes through the science from practitioners to researchers to parents and humans that have used this plant to get through things like cancer or insomnia or depression, anxiety. It's absolutely amazing. So last thing, because we're talking about sleep, I just want to make sure I talk about the delivery method if you are using this. If you have a hard time falling asleep, usually a liquid is better to use because it gets into your system faster. If you have a hard time staying asleep, usually a capsule's better because it takes longer to get in and it therefore also takes longer to get out of your system. So if you're struggling with both, falling asleep, staying asleep, do both. Use a capsule first, right? To, hopefully help you later on in the night, but also use that liquid, hold it underneath your tongue, and that will help you fall asleep. So cool. Anything else to say on this one?
Yeah. See a professional. You need to talk to somebody like Dr. Cade that knows about the dosages and how this all works and what each ingredient is, rather than just trying to wing it yourself.
I kind of want to say something, but I kind of don't.
Go for it.
I kind of also want to say, I think that's important, but at the same time, it's just food. It's just a plant, don't hesitate to experiment,
sure,
right?
We have to, we're going to have to take the leap anyway. Right.
Yeah.
But for me, you taught me so much about it and it helped me to understand how to use it.
Cool. I like it, man.
So,
I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun. Okay. So many of us are kind of stuck in our own prison too, trying to always measure ourselves by someone else's ruler, whether that's money, whether that's kids, or whether that's cars, right? And again, it just creates more mind stress. So a little random spot there. Don't measure yourself by somebody else's ruler. Okay, Coach, this is all you. Food.
Let's go. So food is the best medicine. We need to get our nutrients from food. So right here, we've got some precursors to melatonin. Melatonin puts you to sleep, right? We'll talk about that, I think, here in a little bit. But the things that can help you make melatonin, we've listed: turkey, cheese, eggs, pumpkin seeds, cashews, kiwi. The big deal in that is an amino acid called tryptophan. and that is a precursor to make melatonin. So the more of that good stuff that you eat, and quality matters, the more components you have in your body to make that hormone. Magnesium-rich foods. Magnesium is a powerhouse. It does so much for the brain. It does so much for sleep. You can see here. And then GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter, and it is very, very, the research on it is really cool. It calms you down. Mm-hmm. And you can see here the foods that are the precursors or have the nutrients in it to precursor to GABA.
So hopefully food is enough, like incorporating those things at least into your nighttime meals is enough. But if it's not enough, that's when we go supplements. Like we don't go supplements first, right? Supplements are on top of food, right? So same thing, read through the ingredients of any one of the supplements that you do and just make sure that you, I guess, work with a professional here too. Like your supplements really should just be food, but you don't want to just spin your wheels and guess and take something that maybe that your body doesn't need, right? Or maybe take too much of it, or the frustration of it. So Coach, we always say, don't guess, test. Any thoughts there to share?
No, I think we're going to talk about it here in a couple slides. So I'll hammer down on that.
Okay, cool.
When we talk about blood work.
So I think the disclaimer that Coach and I both need to give on supplementation, because we're going to give you a couple more ideas here specifically for mind noise, is this idea, right? Like medicine is all about if you have this, then take this, right? And we don't want to do that with supplements because that's really just like the medical model wearing a natural health costume, right? That's really all it is. Yeah. So be very careful with that. Make sure, again, I think that's where testing comes in, that you're doing the right thing. So what are your favorite supplements for mind and noise, Coach?
Well, I like the lower three, theanine, GABA, and magnesium.
Okay.
Melatonin is great, but I want myself, my family, my patients, I want them to make that on their own.
Yep.
Because it's a very, very powerful supplement, and it does a lot of different things. So, L-theanine calms the brain, that calms the stress. We've got a couple patients that we have given them or prescribed them or got them to buy these little squirters, that they can just squirt in their mouth. That's theanine. I think or is that threonate?
No, that one's theanine.
Yeah, and it like literally helps them to calm down. Right.
I think it's good to say theanine doesn't make you sleepy, but it does calm those racing, overactive thoughts. So great if mind noise is your thing, theanine's awesome to take at night. But we'll have people take it before they travel on a plane if they're nervous about a plane, or before a big test that they've got to take if they get test anxiety, right?
Yep.
How about the magnesiums?
Yeah, I love glycinate because I think it has more bang for your buck, for lack of a better way to say that. Because it works in the enteroside of the gut. But threonate, it crosses the blood-brain barrier. So that can help to calm the brain down. We've got to experiment. We've got to try these things because sometimes it gives people diarrhea or they don't take enough and they're not going to the bathroom enough. So there's so much to it.
Yeah, I think that's good. Just because threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a better response from that. My wife is a perfect example. I was so excited when I found magnesium threonate, brought that home. She has a lot of mind noise at night, and it didn't do anything for her. Yeah. Glycinate, which works typically systemically in the body, worked way better for her. And it really surprised me, but it's a good lesson that, again, there isn't a one size fits all. There isn't anything that's textbook. So good stuff here. And I think if you were looking for a 1-2 punch, that would be good for mind noise and body noise, just to calm everything down. Even though, again, we're still in mind noise. Yeah. This is pretty awesome. So that Myo Calm on the left has GABA and L-theanine. It has magnesium glycinate in it. And it's awesome. It's a fantastic thing. So if you were just looking for one thing, that's pretty all-encompassing. But that brain mag on the other side, shout out to Drew. I know how much you love this brain mag. It's awesome. We've got so many patients who love this. This has 2 types of magnesium that cross the blood-brain, not just that threonate that we talked about, but the magnesium acetyltaurinate. Yeah. And a ton of research out there. We love the guy who owns this company, Mike Mutzel. If you head over to the page for either one of these things, not only are you going to see all the ingredients and transparency, he's got really cool videos that kind of talk about the mechanisms and how helpful it is.
Yeah. Real quick, because our next slide's about melatonin. Neither of these have melatonin in them. And I have seen them work very well for people to sleep better.
Cool. Coach approved on those ones. It's
Yep.
awesome. Okay, I'll talk about melatonin then. And Coach, you can give me a dirty look.
No, it's not bad.
I'm teasing.
It's
I'm
not
teasing.
bad. Sometimes we need it.
I think melatonin's pretty dang awesome. It is literally the most potent antioxidant we know of. So we hear about all these, antioxidant things like blueberries and garlic in this ORAC score, right? And what were they called? Noni berries. And there's just, is that what it was? Noni? They weren't berries.
Never mind. I'm thinking of the cartoon gummy bears. They drink the berry juice or whatever.
But melatonin is the most potent antioxidant that we know of, and that's what helps us against cancer. That's what helps us against all immune struggles, right? And so I don't think melatonin's a bad thing to take. I think it could potentially be a slippery slope by taking an outside source. Might make your body a little bit lazy of making its own. But if you're doing all these other things with food and with sunlight, then I don't think it's a problem, right?
Amen.
Yeah. So this one specifically is a pump. So it goes underneath your tongue and it gets into your system really, really, really quick. So if you have a hard time, like if you're waking up at night, this could be something that you could leave on your bedside table and just do half a pump or something like that to help you get back down quick. But again, you can see all the other things on the side there of things that melatonin helps.
It's a powerhouse.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. Okay, so here's a QR code for those of you that are looking at these things. Again, the myoscience supplements are not found on FullScript, but so many other things that we talk about are, and we do have a little sleep package put together when you scan that code. This brings you to FullScript, a dispensary that we trust, so that you don't have to go on Amazon and think about, is it a counterfeit product? Has somebody pulled that top, put something else in, and sealed it back up? Or how long has it been sitting in a warehouse with heat, right? Amazon is just a little sketchy. It's great for things that we're not consuming, but things that we are consuming just makes me a little bit nervous. So there's our favorite dispensary, and pretty awesome.
Good point.
Okay.
Body.
Holy moly, Coach, we're running out of time. We might have to do a double take on this one.
That's okay.
Should we stop or should we keep going?
Keep going.
Okay. All right.
Let's keep going.
So done with mind noise. Now we're jumping into body noise. So what do you think, Coach? Here's the things we're going to talk about.
Yeah. It's all about our body. Right now we're moving from the mind to the body. You see?
Oh, is this a repeat slide here?
Yeah.
How does the circadian rhythm help the body?
Well, it runs it. Because our mind and our body are connected, right? There's no separation between the mind and the body. They're one and the same. So again, light. The sun is going to rule the body.
It's kind of wild, looking back and reviewing these slides. We do have sun in every one of those three topics. Okay, I want you to take this one too.
So we're all sitting in a chair for most of our day now, except for Dr. Cade. He's on his feet all day. So when he sits in a chair, it's like the opposite. No, but we need to move. Movement is a great medicine. It helps to use our energy, which is our blood sugar. So that can help us to sleep. Right? But there's also the other side of the teeter-totter here. Lots of people can avoid their problems by over-exercising. They move too much. They can't stop. They can't sit down. They won't do that because it's too hard for them, right? So there's a lot to unpack here, but the big thing is when we sweat, when we use our muscles, when we lift, when we're working functionally, our body needs to sleep from that. Like we need rest after that. Like we'll get worn out and we're going to fall asleep.
Anything else to say?
No, go ahead.
You want to give, because we wrote down a couple examples and you kind of alluded to it. Do you want to jump into either one of those?
I never read the notes. So a couple of our patients we wrote down here because they're over movers. They can't stop, right? And they have sleep issues. They have thyroid issues. They have other body issues from too much movement. So there is that slide that was all about balance. There is a balance that's very important to this. And again, we have to do a self-inventory, a self-reflection. We have to go within and see, well, what are we doing? Are we trying to run from something?
So we'll give in a little bit here, a little bit on how you can determine if you need more movement and more exercise, or if you need to back off and you need more recovery. Do you ever think there's a bad time to go for a walk though?
No, I don't, because you know, a lot of like those over exercisers, they're not walking. They're building, or they're treadmilling. You know, they're like running. So when you walk, it's a great place to find God. It's a great place to do a prayer, or check out the trees, or listen to the birds, you know?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, there's mental and physical benefits for going for a walk. And yeah, never a bad time to do it, especially if you can watch the sun go down when you do it. Coach, what about blood work in relation to sleep? What are some markers and some organ systems that are going to impact sleep?
Yeah, well, the blood is a powerful tool to find out what is going on in the body, right? To see if there's some sort of cellular dysfunction. And, you know, we see a lot of liver issues where the liver is sluggish, it's fatty, you know, it's collected fat so that our bile ducts don't secrete bile like they should into the gallbladder. And this, in turn, is going to affect how we sleep. Blood sugar. How our body processes the sugar that we're eating and uses it for our brain to sleep is a big problem with sleep, you know? So like we were talking, Cade is hypoglycemic. He has a lower insulin, and then his glucose levels drop. And so lots of times when glucose levels drop through the night, people will wake up. They'll wake up in the middle of the night and they'll be like, I wake up every night at 2:30. And that is usually a blood sugar issue.
I love it. I love it.
We can find all that out with looking at the blood.
Oh, it's so awesome. Okay. Any other blood markers? Anything else to talk about here?
Well, all of these.
This is your foundational panel.
This is a functional panel that I use, and all of these markers are telling a story that all intertwine with, it's a system, right? So the endocrine system of the pancreas is just the same as the lipid panel, right? Like it's playing into all of these different markers. So when you know how to read blood properly, you can find out some very, very valuable information that I think trumps most other tests.
How about the difference between how most people are reading the panel, like what you're alluding to when you read it right, versus how you're looking at it?
Yeah, well, thank the good Lord for Dr. Brian Walsh, because he put blood, sweat, and tears into these reference ranges that I use every day. And his reference ranges are based on human clinical trials, and they're totally different. Like the reference range for triglycerides, for example, is totally different than conventional wisdom, and very different than a lot of functional medicine doctors, which are, you know, holistic doctors. And because of those reference ranges, they're very tight. The window's a lot tighter than what conventional would be. So we're finding issues before they're really big issues.
It's like, and what's the value of that? You know, like not having to go through something. But you brought up cholesterol. Can you just give us an example? Is there like a different range for a male versus a female for someone who's in their 20s versus their 70s? Yeah,
total cholesterol is a great example, because total cholesterol, if you're under 60, is a completely different score than if you're over range than if you're over 60. And then if you're a female over 60, that's completely different than if you're a male over 60.
So higher cholesterol potentially becomes protective, correct?
You got it.
Okay. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Very interesting.
Whereas the conventional wisdom will say if you're over 200 total cholesterol ever, you need a statin. So that can be very detrimental.
And remember, you got to heal once from the meds and once from the disease. What's causing that cholesterol to rise up?
Yep.
Oh, good questions. Anything other than labs, though?
Yeah, dude, there's such a story. So the piece of paper is very important. I'm using that like as a guide, but I'm taking in a we do like an hour and a half long intake where I sit with the patient and I go through their entire life health history, their entire life, childhood trauma history, to the extent that they feel comfortable sharing. And all those things matter, because like sleep, for example. Well, how do you sleep? Oh, every night I wake up at 2:30 a.m. and I can't fall back asleep. Oh, well, do you get hangry? Do you ever realize that food gives you a lot of energy? Like there's these symptoms,
little hints, right?
Right. Oh, you're probably hypoglycemic. Let's try some things to see if that helps, right? So the history, what they say is just as important, more important probably.
So we get a lot of people that come in that are looking for parasite testing or stool testing or hair testing, right? What are your thoughts on contrasting that between the tried and true blood work?
Yeah, well, functional medicine is a big business. Go look at how much the supplement industry is worth. It's crazy.
And it continues to grow, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we continue to get more tests. Oh, well, now we can test for COVID or whatever. I don't know. But it's a sham for the most part. Blood work, blood chemistry is the most clinically valid, scientifically valid test that we can run. And a lot of times we're wasting our money doing all these other fancy tests.
Well, I think the part that I love about you so much is I fell down that rabbit hole, again, doing functional testing, and I realized that there has to be some kind of check on it because it's so wildly expensive. And,
Sure.
it's you can send in 2 samples to the same company and get wildly different results, which is disappointing, right?
Yeah.
But like we're jumping to hormones or we're jumping to toxicity when we don't have the cell healthy and well.
Yeah.
So like starting with that foundational blood work is the best place to do it, because if that isn't right, it like hormones can never be right, or toxicity can never be right if the cell isn't healthy, has what it needs, and can be function the way it's supposed to. So personalized care, we believe in that, but there has to be kind of a limit there for how far you're running down the rabbit hole with testing and with supplements before you just get that foundation right. So
Amen.
we are fearfully and wonderfully made. I just going through the complexities of blood work, going through the complexities of sleep, like I don't know, it just always brings me back to God and how awesome all of this stuff is.
Of the nervous system?
Of all of it, right? Gosh, it's so stinking cool. So, but you are made to be well. There's so many things that get in the way. And again, we are in body noise. How does food impact us?
Oh my gosh.
How does all that goodness? I see onion rings and I see pizzas and chicken wings. So what's the best practices for food, Coach?
Yeah, well, real whole food. We're going to talk about that in a second. And know where your blood sugar's at, know like how you metabolize food. There's cues, like if you fall asleep after you eat, you might have insulin resistance. If you're hangry all the time, you might have insulin sensitivity. And then timing, how you eat, when you eat matters, right? You see the list here, no food 3 hours before bed. When we eat closer to bed, our intestines have to work to break down that food. So that can mess with our sleep because we're taking more blood to our intestines to break down food, and we need it in our brain to, run the sleep cycles. Peeing. Lots of people have to wake up to go pee, right? So you're drinking a glass of water this big, right before bed. Well, you're going to have to get up to pee. That's going to affect your sleep. Obviously, caffeine. Right? That's going to keep you awake. So many different things that are just common sense that, maybe you're not doing these things and you're sleeping problem.
Yeah, sometimes it's just something really simple like that. Again, I don't think those are hard rules, but if you're struggling, give them a shot, see how far they go. Just to talk about food real quick, this is definitely our philosophy, JERF, just eat real food. If God didn't make it, then we should try not to eat it or at least minimize it, right?
Amen.
So, again, we've got an awesome nutrition talk that I think, again, Coach and I are both very proud of going through all the details, but here's some simple things: replacing bad fats with good fats, removing sources of sugar, so not just the sweets that we think about, but the bread, the pasta, and the rice, and counting chemicals instead of calories. And the only way we can do that, right, is to look at that list of ingredients.
I love that.
Which again, we talk about so much in that nutrition talk. Other things, this is a big one: prioritizing clean sources of animal products. So I recommend people eat animal products. If you don't, that's okay. Still go back and listen to that nutrition talk. But Coach, you talk a lot about combining protein and sugar at night. You want to tell people a little bit why? And again,
sure. How we metabolize things changes when we have protein, fat, and carbs all together. So if you're just going to eat a bunch of crackers or potato chips, that's going to turn into sugar. That's going to turn into carbohydrate. But if you eat let's say Siete potato chips that are made in avocado oil, that are a cleaner oil, right, with some protein, now you're going to metabolize that carbohydrate a lot differently, usually better, right? There's no like right or wrong or yes or no, but like if you eat things together, protein, fat, and carb, your metabolism changes, and usually for the better.
Yeah, I like that. So other things in regard to the body, you know, if you're struggling, you're overweight, a lot of times that has to do with a lot of pooling or inflammation that can cause pain, that can cause restless leg kind of syndromes or breathing issues. If you're on a CPAP machine and have sleep apnea, you know, make sure that you're looking into these things, not just trying to put a Band-Aid over them.
Yeah.
Why are they happening? Again, weight loss resistance. Why am I mouth breathing, which we'll talk about in a second?
Yeah.
Why do I need this extra oxygen to keep me asleep? You know, if you're taking supplements at night or medications at night, sometimes those can help you fall asleep. Sometimes those can be stimulating and keeping you up, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, be curious, look at all of these different things, and again, get to the root of it. I'm going to just go back to restless leg. Restless leg, you know, can be a neurologic thing. Restless leg can also be linked to Coach's tapping his tummy, a bacterial imbalance like SIBO in the tummy and in the digestive tract.
Yep.
It can be linked to, neurologic inflammation, toxicity stuff. So one of our favorite things, which we'll talk about coming up here, is topical magnesium for that. But we got to be careful. Are we just treating the symptoms and missing the root, right? How about the bed, Coach?
Oh, that's all you, because that's where we sleep. So that's really important.
Yeah.
Really important.
Yeah, we hear all the time about the quality of the mattress. People, you know, it's an expensive thing. So like we usually don't want to look at it too much. But, you know, if you're waking up in pain, if you're having a hard time getting comfortable at night, you're tossing, you're turning, here's some kind of piece of advice that we recommend. Make sure that you're shooting for a firmer mattress if you're going to buy one, right? A mattress, you can always make it softer with a mattress topper. You can never make a mattress firmer, right? And over time, of course, it's going to get softer and softer. So other things, if you're struggling with temperature, here's a couple companies that we really like. Chili Pad and 8 Sleep both make a mattress topper and a mattress itself that you can both heat the mattress and cool the mattress, which is awesome, especially if you're sleeping with a spouse that likes to be the opposite end of you. There are even things that they'll run, I think, like, again, heated or cooled water through the mattress topper or through the mattress. You can even set a temperature that you like, and it'll keep it that way through the entire night, because our temperature fluctuates when we're sleeping, depending on what stage of sleep that we're in, right?
Yeah.
Position-wise, back sleeping is always going to be the best. Of course, I'm going to turn to the side. Don't recommend putting a pillow underneath your neck and pushing forward like that if you're going to be on your back. We always want to support this. That'll actually open up airways. Not talking into the microphone very good, but that'll open up airways. If you're sleeping on your side, that would be the next best way to sleep, but same thing. Do your best not to tuck your head down. Try to get your chin up a little bit. And stomach sleeping would be the worst. Anything to add there, Coach?
Yeah, get x-rays.
Ooh, x-rays of
your spine. So your cervical spine, your low back. So you know what's in there, what's going on. And then, just like blood work, Dr. Cade can recommend the best way to sleep.
Love that. Love that. Okay. How about breathing, Coach?
Oh my gosh. Well, what happens if we don't?
Pretty dang important.
Yeah. That's all oxygen. And here's some types of breathing. Belly breathing is through the diaphragm. That's using the diaphragm to get oxygen to the lower lobes of the lungs. That also is when we're in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. That's when we heal. Resonance. I don't know about resonance breathing. What's that?
If you're looking into resonance breathing, simple way to do some belly breathing, go onto YouTube. You can type that in. And same thing with box breathing, same thing with belly breathing. You know, it's kind of hard for us, I guess, to do it with the little frame that we've got of our body here. But go onto YouTube. These are things that help the mind. They help the body. Obviously, we're talking about it here in body, but these are things, Coach is working on it over there, getting his diaphragm to move. You can see his belly moving, less his chest moving. So again, this stuff triggers the parasympathetics, triggers the vagus nerve, triggers rest, digest, and heal. Then there's this oxygen CO2 exchange that also helps our body realize it's time to calm, it's time to be in a peaceful state.
Amen.
Just to take breathing a little bit further, mouth breathing. So many people, so many of us are mouth breathing.
Yeah.
And man, this is a big list that when you're breathing through your mouth, these are things that are linked to it. Snoring, voice changes, constant sore throats, post-nasal drip, focus issues, emotional dysregulation, breath issues. Like, these are big things that are all traced back to mouth breathing.
Yeah.
Even dementia now is being linked back to breathing from your mouth.
Yeah, this is awesome. You can go to the next slide, and we just keep wrapping on this. But mouth breathing, there's a lot of trends and rage and like things in health, in the health space. But I think mouth breathing is a good trend. because it's very, very important and beneficial to fix. But yeah, the microbiome, the bacteria of our gut starts in our mouth. And so when you're breathing through your mouth, your bacteria changes. Everything changes in how your enzymes in your mouth work. So yeah, here's some ideas to help with mouth breathing. Again, though, I'm gonna harp on X-rays, because in chiropractic, when you look at the spine and you see the shape of it, that has everything to do with how our jaw stays open or closed and how our airways are shaped.
Just to button up this slide too, before we, I think we're going to have to stop here. So just to wrap this up, there's a different bacteria in our nasal passages than that is not present in our mouth. And when we breathe through our nose, it creates part of the oxygen into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up blood vessels. It's a big supplement. It's a big thing in the weightlifting world to like get oxygen and get more swole, if you will. But when we open up those small capillaries, especially in our brain, it helps everything else. So we'll come back. You'll see us in different shirts here coming up, and we'll call it quits. All right, you guys, we are back. Probably doesn't look like much of a break to you, but we started recording earlier today, and now it's the afternoon. So let's talk and continue this about body noise. And right now we're talking about body temperature needing to drop before going to sleep. So on average, our body temperature needs to drop about 3 degrees to fall asleep. And in the morning, it's why it's so, I guess, hard to get out of bed, because it's so comfortable. Our body rises 3 degrees, and just kind of snuggling up in bed feels so good. So one of the little hacks, if you will, to try to help you or your little ones fall asleep faster at night and encourage that temperature drop, other than having the house cold, is to go take a shower, go take a bath. Doesn't matter what temperature you do it per se, but afterwards, make sure that you air dry so that your temperature naturally drops there, and then get into bed as quick as you can afterwards. Coach, anything you want to add there, or anything that you like to do temperature-wise for bath or for shower?
No, I learned this from you, and it works. It works. I actually, I stand in front of a fan, and it's really cold, like freezing cold. And yeah, because I always am too hot after my shower, so because I like hot showers, and that really, really cools you off. Feels good.
Super good idea. I like it. And I did not come up with that. So just the messenger here. Okay, let's move on. Other things, body noise. So this is a really cool concept. So I'm just going to open the door, and then Coach, think you should take it here. So this chart here is if you're experiencing pain or symptoms, you know, sometimes it can be during the day, and you can see plenty of things early in the morning, you know, 3 to 5 a.m., 1 to 3 a.m., right? So if you're waking up in the middle of the night, between any of these ranges here, it means that, again, we talked about sleep, that even though you're asleep, you've lost consciousness, your system is hyperactive. It could, you know, warrant that these organ systems are more active.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach.
Well, you see where it says labs equals solved. I think labs are important. Yes, for sure. We can find some stuff out, but that should say Jesus equals solved.
I like
because you can tell that anger, grief, worry, fear, lonely, those are all fear-based emotions. Those are all, you know, Satan trying to trick you emotions. And once you realize, like, if God is for us, then who can be against us? You're free. And when you're free, you rest, you sleep, you let go. So we're waking up because of sympathetic overdrive. We're waking up because we're gas pedal all the time. Gas pedal, childhood, gas pedal. Like, make dad happy, make the team, you know, get a good college degree, get a good job, make money, gas pedal, gas pedal, gas pedal. Now we have Instagram, right? And so we don't have enough break, and that's going to wake you up in the middle of the night.
Pretty dang cool, you know, that those organ systems are tied to emotions. That comes from Chinese medicine, that comes from Ayurvedic medicine, and there's maybe a little bit of differences, but for the most part, you know, things are pretty parallel there. Yeah, very interesting, and I agree 100%, Coach. When your system is balanced, right, out of fight or flight, these things typically don't happen. So, you know, we can go and with a microscope go system by system, but, you know, if you zoom out, it is what Coach said. Okay, on to the next one. Big topic here, full moon and parasites. So parasites are having a bit of a moment over the past couple years. I don't think it's anything new, though. We've coexisted with them for years and years. Some signs that you may have parasites, again, especially if these symptoms are worsened around a full moon. We've got a big list there of headaches and fatigue and jaw clenching and teeth grinding, itchy bottoms. We always recommend looking at your stool. Super, super interesting. Does it mean that you absolutely have a parasite? No. But could it be? Yes. Do most of us have parasites? Yes, especially if you work in the yard, if you're, gardening, if you have animals, if you've been around animals, if you're not washing your produce, if you're eating raw meat in any way or undercooked meat, like that's always, an option or an opportunity, I guess, for them. Why the full moon? Because it's lighter out at night, our body makes less melatonin. And we've talked about that a couple times, or mentioned that a couple times. And so because the melatonin is lower and because it's such a potent antioxidant, our immune system is a little bit weaker. So those little opportunistic buggers, have an opportunity to rear their head a little bit more, and those symptoms become more surface level, right? Okay, so if you do have parasites, what the heck do you do about it? Burn the whole house down?
Yeah.
Here's some good stuff to consider, and then we're going to take a different look at it next, okay? I think the gold standard, if you are going to do a parasite cleanse, is Cellcore's Parakit. Especially, they've got a couple different things they're adding in there, but especially this Mimosa pudica. So I think we could talk about it all day. I'm not going to do that. I think you can go do your own research. Joy Springs Parapatrol, a patient actually introduced us to that. That's more of a kid's thing. Maybe some others in that regard are Zoller's Paragard and Biobotanicals Biocidin. Those are all the pretty much all four of those are herbal anti-parasitic things like artemisia, things like clove, black walnut hull, all of those things, kill parasites. And in some cases, are medications necessary, like ivermectin or potentially fenbendazole, or even going further than that with like colonics? I don't know the answer to that. Probably, but maybe not.
Well, I would say like now there's a huge correlation to parasites and cancer.
100%.
And so like if you have a big diagnosis, then it would make sense to go all out, with that stuff. But I see a lot of people going ivermectin, fenbendazole like first thing, and I'm like, whoa, like we gotta figure out what's going on in the cell first before you go like to step 70 there.
Well, I think you bring up a really good point, right? Which we're going to talk about here on this next slide. Do parasites cause cancer, or because the immune system's already weakened and spending time fighting cancer, does that mean it's opportunistic for the parasites? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if anybody does, because you hear it both ways. But what are your thoughts? What's the opposite of this, Coach?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, we don't know, and we have to have an open mind. And like you said, the parasite whole ordeal is having a huge moment, and things get very, very trendy, yeah, in the health space. But we need to back up, right? So there's a theory called the terrain theory, and this would compete against the germ theory, meaning that our terrain is what actually makes us sick, not a germ. So what the terrain theory says is that based on our body's system, what is how balanced we are, and this goes back
how healthy we are, right? How rested.
Rested. This goes back all the way to fight or flight and rest and digest, because if we're on the gas pedal all the time, then we're not going to have the immune system function to take care of something that could be overgrown, like a parasite, right? And furthermore, there's a lot of evidence out there that parasites are there to clean up toxicity. Like they're there to clean up chemical burdens that we can't, right? Like Dr. Cade mentioned, there is a symbiotic relationship with us and bugs. Like they outnumber us, parasites, bacteria, protozoa, they outnumber our cells 10 to 1. And some scientists say that we have 100 trillion cells of our own, right? So then they would be 10 times that in us and on us.
My brain can't comprehend that. But like we used to just go crazy with antibiotics. Bacteria was bad, and we now know that's one of the most harmful things we can do. Sure. There's good, there's bad, and there's time to intervene, and there's time to let the body do what it needs to do. And I think, is that potentially the same with parasites? Is it in some of the cases? Is it in all the cases? Again, are they there to clean up and help us? Are they there opportunistically? Maybe the same thing with viruses, maybe not. That's a whole nother conversation too. But when we're exposed via food, right? When we eat it via food, if our stomach acid and our bile is working appropriately, do they have the chance to survive?
No, and that's the whole ordeal is, their eggs. The pro-parasite camp is going to say their eggs are everywhere and we're breathing them all the time and we're getting them in all the time. Yep. Well, yeah, same with any kind of bacteria. There's bacteria on my phone case. Yep. It's everywhere. But a healthy terrain will take care of that. A healthy microbiome will take care of that. You have stomach acid and bile on there. That takes care of keeping what we want out, and letting what we want in. And that's all our digestive system is, from our mouth to our,
other end, right?
Other end is a tube that keeps out what needs to be out.
So, maybe just kind of buttoning this part up, and you have a better chance at getting parasites if your stomach acid, your bile, and your microbiome, the bacterial balance in your body, isn't working appropriately. Yeah. So, at that point, you have two options if you're dealing with parasites. Get rid of the suckers and then build your stomach acid, optimize your bile, rebuild that microbiome so that when you're exposed again, your body can take care of it and you don't have to do this parasite cleanse consistently over and over or deal with the symptoms over and over, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything else to say there?
Well, I would say, because you said get rid of the suckers, I would say get stomach acid, bile, microbiome, gut in check
first.
And I would put some money on that would get rid of the suckers, like or the symptoms, because we don't know if it's them or not. We can't prove that. But what we can tell is how we're feeling.
I think that's a good point.
If those symptoms get better when you get your gut in check, all right, be done with it.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. So closing up body noise, here's a couple things to share with you guys. Here's some of our favorite supplements, which again can be found at that same QR code that we shared with you before. And again, focused on body noise. So turmeric. I love turmeric. I know that you have kind of mixed feelings on it.
No, I love it. I just know it's not, going to run the citric acid cycle like, something like, vitamin B's would, or oxygen, or more important things. But it can really help for sure.
Yeah, kind of treating symptoms more than getting to the root. But turmeric's a potent anti-inflammatory. So if you're dealing with a lot of inflammation, especially in muscle, joints, stiff, achy, sore muscles and joints and things like that, turmeric's awesome. If you're waking up in the morning and you're really stiff and sore after not moving all night, take your turmeric right before bed. That way it can work and you wake up, it can work overnight and you can wake up in a better spot. If you're stiff and sore later in the day, then take your turmeric at breakfast or at lunch so that it works during that time, right? Yeah. L-tryptophan is found, it's an amino acid. We kind of were talking about that too in L-theanine. It's rich in turkey. And it gives people, it's famous on Thanksgiving for giving people that feelings of content and rest. And so many people pass out after eating so much turkey. So tryptophan's awesome. You can get that in a supplement. Topical magnesium. It's just magnesium in a lotion. Basically a mobile Epsom salt bath works great for calming muscle spasms, muscle cramps, muscle achiness. Yes, restless leg. Yeah, we did mention that earlier in this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
That topical magnesium. And what's the specific brand that you tell people about for joint pain that has turmeric in it and curcumin?
For Curamed.
Curamed. My patients love it.
Yeah.
That really helps their pain. We're trying to get to the root of their pain, but like in the meantime, it can really help.
Yeah, I like that. So Curamed is for the turmeric. L-tryptophan, I think the brand is Lidkey. And then the magnesium, our favorite brand is
Ancient Minerals.
Yeah, Ancient Minerals, the blue one.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Okay, other options, topically, putting CBD on. And again, we talked about it orally, we talked about it capsules. But topically, the last one, you can really just spot treat wherever it is that you need it. And I think that kind of CBD is just, it's so flexible. It's an awesome thing. We already talked about air drying, sauna, percussion massage. All those things are phenomenal. So
do we have any DMSO?
We didn't put it on there. Why don't you tell them about it, though?
Yeah, DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, is sulfur. It's a form of sulfur and very, very, very good at spot treating pain. So if body noise keeps you up and that's pain, DMSO is a powerhouse, and you can mix it. There's a lot, like you need to do your research on it, because you have to formulate the proper formulation, because like 99% DMSO needs to be cut down a little bit with like coconut oil or a jojoba or something like that. But it will drive, like is that what it's called? What is it?
I think it's jojoba.
Oh, jalapeno.
Cut.
Who cares?
Molly beat him.
Yeah, molybdenum. I didn't know the pronunciation of that. But yeah, so DMSO is very, very powerful. Do your research because you have to have clean skin. It will take what's on your skin in. So that means you can mix it with magnesium. You can mix it with CBD. You can mix it with castor oil.
Any of the ones here, right?
Yep, and or essential oils. Yep, and that's gonna bring those things in. Yeah.
Can I do a dad joke really quick?
Sure.
Why can't you? Why don't I'm gonna butcher this? So butcher this. Why can't you hear when a pterodactyl goes to the bathroom?
Why can't you hear when a pterodactyl goes to the bathroom? I don't know.
Because they have a silent P.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
I think it should be a little bit cleaner than that, but sorry guys, I had to throw that one in there because of what was it? Jojoba.
It's jojoba. Come on, man.
So much more fun to say it that way. What is your favorite resource if people want to dig in a little bit deeper to DMSO? What's your favorite resource?
Yeah, good point. Dr. Vollmer, Amanda Vollmer.
Awesome.
Volhmer, I believe. And she wrote a book called Healing with DMSO, the best out there. That book has all the dosages in it and how to mix and use it and for all parts of the system.
And I think she also has a store where you can buy stuff. What is that? DMSO.store or something like that, or store.dmso?
Yeah. Just type her name into Google and you'll find her store.
All sorts of great products and very, very high purity of that product too.
Yeah,
right?
She's cool.
Okay.
Very smart.
Well, I think this little bedtime blend here is pretty self-explanatory. Some topical stuff that you can use here. If you want to just mix lavender, vetiver, and chamomile in a diffuser, you can. Or you can add some CBD and use it topically, and awesome stuff. Those are things you can use as much as you want to.
Yeah, and it works. Dr. Cade's CBD stick, which no longer is available, that stuff really, really, really helps with pain.
Awesome. Okay, we are done with body noise. Let's finish this sucker up. Got a couple more slides here talking about the environment. So it's the last piece of the puzzle. So here's some of the things we're going to be talking about. Going back to mattresses, going back to the bedroom, lighting, noise, temperature, sheets, air quality. So just the last couple things to consider here. So what's the best bedding, Coach, and best mattress?
Yeah, pure material from God. So 100% cotton, linen, I think even silk might be okay.
Versus and why?
Plastic. So how do they call that? Is it nylon or what?
Polyester.
Polyester. Yeah, polyester now is in every article of clothing, underwear, sheets, t-shirts, jackets. It's good stuff. It's nice material, but it's got a frequency to it that our body might not resonate with as well as something natural like cotton. So
and potentially a big source of microplastics too, right?
Which is the issue. We talked about, drinking your coffee out of a plastic cup or brewing your coffee in plastic, or the plastic liner of your Keurig coffee pod.
Yep.
Those all put what do they call them? What are the name of the plastics? The
BPAs, bisphenols.
Yeah, whatever the toxic stuff in plastic is, into our system. Well, we can also get that from what we're wearing, and that can also change our frequency. How that frequency then changes the cell, and that has everything to do with light.
I'll take real quick mattresses and off-gassing. Mattresses are especially the memory foam stuff is petroleum-derived products, that foam, and I think anybody who's ever been around that foam who's smelt it knows that it off-gasses quite a bit. But the flame retardant thing is a big thing too, and not just in mattresses, but potentially some clothes and car seats and all of our furniture, right? That's mandated. And if you want to dive down that rabbit hole on both how toxic that stuff is and how little it's been studied for its use around people and how effective it is as a flame retardant, a great documentary is called Toxic Hot Seat. It's awesome, but a little bit haunting, right? Yeah. And then how about grounding?
Yeah. Well, real quick before grounding, haven't they proven that stuff causes cancer?
100%.
Cancerogenic?
Carcinogenic. So if you want to hop on our website, you're on a roll. When you think that we filmed this one in the morning versus afternoon. On our website, we have an article talking about mattresses and some of the best brands that are out there with the cleanest products. And the example, like the mattress that we chose, was one called Mountain Air Organic Beds. And there's literally 3 ingredients in it. You know, it's organic wool, it's locally, or I should say USA sourced rubber, and they make latex out of the rubber, and then organic cotton. That's it. The wool's like the flame retardant, and that's it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's wild how we have made so many man-made chemicals that are not good.
Amen.
Grounding. So grounding is, again, barefoot walking, being on the earth where it's clean, like the beach or a field that hasn't been sprayed with Roundup, or your yard.
Do those exist anymore?
Yeah.
Especially in Florida?
Not with neighbors.
Yep.
But getting your feet in the dirt, getting bare feet on the ground can do a world of good, and that like starts and helps the circadian rhythm. So one thing I should mention is when you look at the sun in the morning, if you're barefoot, when you do that, the benefits go up even higher because you're in the resonance of the earth.
So for those of you that don't get outside much, or if you're outside and you're wearing shoes with like a big, thick rubber sole that's keeping you basically a barrier between you and Mother Nature, you know, the whole point is to change that. And if that doesn't make sense, or you don't have time for that and not in your routine, you can get sheets that you can sleep on that connect into the grounding plug on your electrical outlet that basically simulate that same thing with Mother Nature, right? That's balancing this ionic exchange and bring you back into a more of a balance. And some people don't notice much of a difference, but the majority of people notice a huge change in their systemic inflammation levels.
Well, I think about how many people love the beach.
And how different you feel when you're there. Yeah,
exactly. And there's a grounding element to that.
Not me. I hate the beach. I'm just teasing. I love it. Okay, wireless exposures. How about this one, Coach?
Yeah, big time. So I was mentioning light and frequency. Everything is a form of light. Some light we can see, some light we can't. And there is EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies, all around us. Like our phones are pinging electromagnetic frequencies. If we have a Bluetooth speaker or Bluetooth headphones, that's pinging electromagnetics. Right now I'm on our Wi-Fi here. That's electromagnetic frequencies. It's all around us, and that affects the cell. The cell has to respond to that frequency, and sometimes it can help. Like there's, those pads you can lay on. What's the name of that?
Beamer?
Yeah, like a Beamer mat. That's a pulsed electromagnetic frequency that can stimulate cellular health and cellular metabolism and energy. But there's also, these that are invisible killers.
So other things beside the cell phone, the ear pods, I think, are definitely the worst because it's literally communicating back and forth between each other and your phone, and your brain is in the middle of that. So I don't, I think the only thing that could make that worse is if we're giving that to kids because the thickness of their skull isn't fully formed and that frequency can penetrate a little bit deeper.
God, that breaks my heart. Look
it's wild,
every single kid. Like every kid has that now.
But radio towers, if you've got like a home, like a phone line at home, like a hard line at home, but it's like a wireless still, those things are like spray off a ton of frequency. Any smart appliance in the house, any like Amazon Alexa speaker or Google speakers that you have, anything that's wireless emits that and communicates to that. And again, if you're in between that smart device in your house and your router, you're in between that communication, and that's permeating through you, meaning it's going through your muscle, through your cell, through the cell membrane, through the nucleus, through the DNA. Yeah. Like again, for some people, that's a big deal. And for others, you might not notice it, but it is still impacting your health, right?
Yeah.
So things you can do to protect yourself. We really like Faraday fabric. I don't have my wallet on me, but a lot of those RFID blocking wallets use that Faraday fabric because to some extent, not 100%, but it will minimize some of the penetration or the frequency being able to leak through that. And so there's actually a couple companies out there now that make maternity clothes that have that Faraday fabric across the belly, right? Wow. Which I think is genius. But you can get bed sheets, you can get paint that you can paint your bedroom walls with that will refract some of that.
Yeah.
Other things, when you're asleep at night, hopefully you're unplugging or turning off your smart devices or your Wi-Fi router. Make sure that that's off. If you're not connecting to it, no need for that to be blasting you at night. Same thing, your phone on airplane mode. One of the things we do with our Wi-Fi router, well, you do it too, right? You do like the little Christmas timer, and you just have it automatically turn on and off when you need it.
Yeah, it just turns off at night, turns back on in the morning. It's actually not even on when I get up in the morning. So like I can't check.
Are you disconnected?
My computer, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta wait till I get to work. But we get here early. But yeah, one thing, like Cade said, some people might notice it, some don't. Well, we have this toxic bucket, and my wife, she's been through a whole slew of health things, been on antibiotics her whole life, like totally ruined her gut. So she's very sensitive. And we took our cell phones out of our room to sleep at night, and she noticed her sleep increase. Like she slept way better after taking the cell phone out of the room. So, and it was even on airplane mode. So that cell phone, even on airplane mode, will emit that EMF, that dirty EMF, and that can affect you. So these things, they're real. You can't see them, so it's hard to believe, but it's changing the cellular function.
Well, think about when you use your phone, right? And you're tasking it, or you're downloading a video, or you're playing a lot of videos, or streaming something.
Yeah.
Your phone gets hot. That's a form of energy that it's bringing and receiving. And whether you can see that, like you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
All interesting things. So there is a ton of information out there about there's one radio quiet zone in the states left, and I think it's up West Virginia area, and it's a square mileage area that they don't have any like radio towers or cell phone towers. And there are people that are hypersensitive, whether it's autoimmune diseases or cancer, that literally move there or go visit there, and their symptoms, their pain, their issues go away. It's really, really cool.
I bet the plants and the gardens there and the fruit and everything that grows is just like crazy miraculous. That's cool.
Can we, totally not in here, but can we talk real quick about a wireless, something that you can't see experiment? Do you remember Mythbusters?
Yeah.
I was just talking about this with a couple kids the other day. Yeah. Mythbusters did like a little experiment where they had 3 plants, and they wanted to see which one was healthiest and survive on this experiment.
Yeah.
Same water source, but one water source, or one plant, they poured the water in. One plant, they heated up the water on the stove and poured it in. I'm sorry, they let it cool down before they put it in the plant. And then the third one, they microwaved the water, let it cool down, and poured it in the plant. And which one do you think
killed the plant? The microwave.
Not wild. So again, something that you can't see, but something you can feel and have any impact. And we're really the same thing. We're just getting microwaved across the board.
Yep.
Okay, next.
Lighting.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so we mentioned, did we mention blue light and the spectrum of blue light?
We're going to get to that, I think, on the next slide here.
We mentioned the color of the light. So the color of the sun, right, is the indicator. The color of the sun, when the sun's setting or rising, is a very orange hue. And that color is what our biology recognizes. Our biology doesn't recognize blue light. So the type of lighting that we use matters. So one thing that we talk to our patients about, and we do on our own, is we get rid of blue light bulbs, and we switch them to...
Not in here, we don't.
No, not in here with these lights coming in. But we switch them to more of a candlelight temperature of light.
So that's a warmer temperature, right? To, I guess, mimic what you're looking at there, fire, right? And there is blue off the sun, there is blue off the fire. We've all seen that bluish tint, but again, it's very stimulating to the brain and neurologic tissue. And again, that stops the body from producing melatonin. So maybe in the day, totally fine, phone in the face, totally fine. But when that sunlight goes down and we put those artificial lights in front, it literally mimics the sun, and our body will not rest and go to sleep. So a whole nother topic is flicker. So many of these artificial lights have a frequency at which they flicker. So if you've ever seen on like a video, like from your cell phone, recording, say, like the daytime running lamps of a car, or like another computer screen or a TV, and you can see a flicker go. Yeah. Those are things we can't necessarily see with our naked eye, but they're things that our brain still has to process. Our brain can actually see it. And it's an overly stimulating and sometimes inflammatory thing to our neurologic tissue.
Yeah, just think about what that's doing. Like, I think about a child, such a fresh, new, healthy tissue and brain, how they're having to take that flicker in, you know?
It's pretty wild. And again, our children, this generation, just don't know any different. So, maybe best practices is after the sun goes down is to use candles if it's possible. And obviously there's some soot with that and some maybe potential fragrances and other crap that you don't want. But there's a cool company called Bon Charge that makes red light bulbs and, little lamps for reading and night lights and all this kind of stuff that is an easy swap. And again, is it possible? Is it realistic? And I'll let you decide, right? But those are out there. But the biggest source for most people is after the sun goes down is the artificial light from these dang things here, right? So we just kind of talked about all this stuff here. But what do you think about the lights? Are those, I'm sorry, what do you think about the sunglasses? Those are yours right there, right?
For sure. No, but to be perfectly honest, I am not a glasses wearing person. I do wear glasses because I wear contacts, but my family and in my house, I just try and get the lights off.
That's awesome.
Down. And
use the software like on your phone or your
and change the hue on the phone. The one thing that I don't have an answer to is the television. Because I don't think that's where these glasses would be great because you could put the glasses on to block that.
Who watches TV anymore? It's just all phones.
Well, Netflix,
it's so crazy.
I like to watch a football game. So
you bring up a really good point, right? Like so many of the devices that we typically watch on have this software built in because like it's a real thing. And not just, I guess, the temperature of the color here, or these software things kind of block that blue light, but the intensity, the brightness of it, turn it down as much as you can. But yeah, TVs, I don't think TVs have it built in. No. So, those glasses can be found and maybe some better looking ones on Amazon for maybe 10, 20 bucks. Yeah. Easy. You can get fancy ones if you want. Anything else to talk about there for protection against lighting?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, on to the next. When you are trying to go to sleep, other environmental aspects you control are, studies show sleeping in complete darkness is absolutely a game changer. So if you're using like if you got, what are they called? Fire alarms, easy for me to say, and they emit like a little light, put a little black piece of electrical tape, or if your TV has a light to show that it's off, cover that up. Even any, or a clock next to you, any little bit of light can get you, right?
That is a game changer because you don't have anything coming in to stimulate your brain. So we have blackout shades in our bedroom, and it's very black, very nice.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Studies show optimal temperature is under 68 degrees to sleep in. And again, I know that my wife would absolutely murder me if I turned our temperature down that low. But that's what studies show. Studies also show that you sleep better with socks on when you're cold with socks. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, who doesn't love to just snuggle and like get cozy in the sheets? You can't really do that in Florida unless you keep your house cold.
Really cold,
Other things to consider are like the humidity, the stickiness in the house, how dry it is, how wet it is, airflow. Like if you've got like an air conditioning vent right above you, yes, maybe it keeps you cold, but that stimulation might not be the greatest thing. And air quality, is there mold in the house? Is that circulating through? Is that acting as something that's stimulating your system or an immune challenge? Some of our favorites are Air Doctor for air quality, and Austin makes a pretty good machine. Anything else to add on this one?
Well, you can, if you want to go crazy, you can have that put into your whole HVAC system of the house to have that filter and bind.
So the two that we like there are the Remy Halo, shout out to the Marino family for that one, and the Apco X. So there's two of those that are pretty good. And I went down the rabbit hole on those recently, and interesting. I don't know exactly what to think, what the answer is, but I think they're definitely helpful machines.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next. Do you guys sleep with white noise? Because we do.
We don't. We did when Cutler was little, but now we have fans. So our fans are on full blast, and we have an Air Doctor, and we turn that up. And so it's pretty noisy just from the fans.
Well, that makes sense, right? So that you're less distracted maybe by a noise by the neighbor or a dog or something like that. How about, did you ever do music?
I used to do that to go to sleep. So I'd like set a timer when I had my phone in my room. I'd set a timer on for like some soft meditative music to fall asleep. And it helped. It's soothing.
That's cool. I used to fall asleep to punk music, like early early, no doubt.
Blink 182.
Absolutely. I don't know why that helped me sleep, but it totally did when I was young. I can't do that now. Love white noise. Love the sound of just that static. Maybe is that called brown noise or something?
There's all different colors.
There is, isn't there?
Which is very interesting.
It is.
But you've got frequency on there. Like there's a frequency of that white noise that I think mimics nature. And it's stimulating or soothing. Not stimulating, soothing.
It's that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down on how the frequency, the natural frequency of music has kind of been hijacked to a different frequency that isn't as calming or as peaceful to our neurology, right? And some things can be a little bit harsh on our system. And so if you want to go down that, tons of information on YouTube and tons of like long form videos to help you fall asleep that are tuned to that frequency. Very, very cool.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're good with sound. Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it, you guys. We're going to just wrap up with a little bit talking about stress again and reference back to our stress talk. And then we'll be done with this. So, you know, we always like talking about the gas pedal. So many of us are just stuck with the gas pedal on, being in fight or flight. And, you know, over time, that literally is like flexing a muscle and going to the gym. And we get an engine or a gas pedal with the strength of a Ferrari, and we never really strengthen our brakes. And we end up with brakes of like a tricycle. And we have this major imbalance of, again, being stuck in fight or flight. And we just want to make sure that we say to you that, you know, you can't be in growth and protection at the same time. You can't be in fight or flight and expect to sleep. You can't be in fight or flight and out supplement it, like what Coach was saying, right? It's so important to look at your stress levels, how resilient your body is, and get out of that. And again, we've got a great stress talk that goes through that. It's long, but it goes through everything. But if you're kind of on the fence about where you're at with things, if you are potentially dealing with fight or flight, or you're trying all these things or seeing practitioners or making changes in your life and you're not like seeing the results of that, get one of these. Get a heart rate variability monitor. What do you think of that, Coach?
Yeah, it's great data. I wore one for about a year on a watch, and it helped me out tremendously. Like I learned that when I didn't have too much sugar near bedtime, I slept better. So there's just data and information that you can gather from that based on heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is phenomenal. It's one of the coolest measurables that I think we have. And I don't know how much we're going to geek out on it, but basically it's showing how stressed we are or how relaxed we are.
Yeah, maybe the term, right? Resilient, right? How resilient you are. It's just a marker. It's like a window into the nerve system to see where you're at with things. So when you've got a high HRV, you know, all of these things work the way that they're supposed to. You know, we're recovering quicker, we're sleeping well, we're digesting better. And, you know, things that will impact HRV is kind of all the stuff we talked about, right? Breathing through your mouth and, you know, stress in our relationships and crappy food, right? All of those things will drop our HRV and make us less resilient, less adaptable to stress. So here's some of our favorite brands out there. And again, we talk about this more in the stress talk. Some of these, you know, they all have their wireless interference. A lot of them you can turn on airplane mode so you can still collect the data while you're sleeping without that wireless interference. Then later on, you connect it back to the phone and it sends the data there. But this is, if you're struggling, if you feel like you're done everything and you're just plateaued, if you will, or not getting the results that you want, go look into HRV. It's definitely worth it. So, okay. So hopefully after this talk, you've learned where your problem is: mind noise, body noise, environment noise, and hopefully you've learned a ton of stuff to actually help solve each one of those potential things. Just want to remind you, though, that when you're going down this route, good things take time. Most of the symptoms we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis are brand new. The problem has been there for a long time. It's built, and then the symptoms bubble over, right? And so don't treat the symptoms. Don't be hyper-focused on the outcome. Do things that you know are going to drive your system to a healthier version of you. Yeah,
I think the big thing here for me is that it's very easy to take a pill. It's very easy to get a surgery. It's very easy to say that you need a CPAP or a BiPAP, which you may. But these are byproducts of something that was coming before it. So, if you're struggling, don't give up. Keep trying. Do things as natural as you can, because we're meant to sleep. Like, sleeping is built in. We already know how to. We just have to get back to what we already know.
And it's free.
So free.
Love this quote by Dr. Perlmutter. Just to cap things off, we've been focusing on the smoke while forgetting the fire. We're focusing on the symptoms while forgetting what's actually causing it. And regards to what Coach has said about medication, like if you take it, that's fine, but know that there's going to be a price to pay eventually, right? You can't put a chemical in and not expect there to be some kind of side effect at some point. Might be now, it might be later.
Yeah. And then blame somebody else for not fixing your problem.
Ugh, that's a big one. Okay, let's clean this up and finish it up here. Every decision you make is going to build you or bring you one step closer to your goals or one step closer to disease. You really get to decide. So I'm Dr. Cade. This is Coach Cason. Like, we would be honored to help you in any way. If you're in Naples, if you're in Southwest Florida, awesome. If you're beyond that, we always do a free consult. So you can reach out. We'd love to help, point you in the right direction. Anything else you want to say, buddy?
You can find us on Gold Care too.
Ooh, I like that. What's Gold Care's website? Just
Goldcare.com.
Goldcare.com.
Yep.
You can find us and many talented practitioners there. God bless you guys. Thanks for joining us.
God bless.
Until the next time.